Right. Yeah, I think we can start. Good evening, colleagues. Welcome to our webinar this evening. Yeah, I believe it's a bit chilly across the country. We are feeling a bit of the last bites of the winter. But yeah, we are here. Thank you so much for joining us today on this webinar for a very important topic that we'll be discussing. And we look forward to a very interactive and productive session with everyone. Our topic for today is breaking the silence, building resilience, a men's mental health conversation. As you know, those who are familiar to our webinars, you know that we do webinar once a month, and mental issues are one of those that are close to our hearts. And this is the second session we are doing this year. Tim, I think we have Dr. Sia here. Is he in the session? Okay, that's fine. He's our resident doctor, everything mental health. But then let me also welcome our speakers. We have Kabelo, who is here with us. Kabelo, good evening, and thank you for joining us. And we also have Javu. Kindly confirm if he has also joined Busi?
Not yet, sir.
Not yet. Okay, that's fine. So they did indicate that they are running over with the other meetings, so they will definitely join us. But let's kick off the session. So welcome to everyone again. So we're gonna start with Kabelo, who's gonna give us a bit of overview in terms of his journey and his experiences with regards to mental health. If we can just move to Kabelo's bio, Maruna. Right. Kabelo Masuku is a software engineer, mental health advocate, and a dedicated single father with over 20 years experience in technology sector and 15 years of advocacy for men's mental health. Drawing from his own lived experiences with mental health challenges, Kabelo is passionate about promoting open conversations, reducing stigma, and improving access to support, particularly in underserved rural communities. Through awareness, campaigns, and community engagements, he encourages men to prioritize their mental well-being and seek help without fear or shame. As a technology professional, Kabelo offers a unique perspective on balancing the demands of a high-pressure career, parenthood, and personal well-being. He believes that resilience, self-awareness, and vulnerability are essential to both personal growth and professional success. Through his advocacy and community work, Kabelo continues to inspire individuals to embrace their challenges, seek support when needed, and build healthier, stronger communities where mental well-being is valued. With those opening words, welcome, Kabelo. Can I hand over to you as our first presenter?
Good evening. Thank you, Bongani. Good evening, everybody. First and foremost, thank you for granting me this opportunity to speak on something that I hold dearly to my heart. Thank you for the introduction. As you heard, Kabelo Masuku. I'm a software engineer by profession, a father, an evangelist for mental health. If I can just say, first of all, this journey, for most people that I have engaged with and spoken to, it begins way more than we think it does or you are aware of it. With my journey, it started once I started engaging in this type of conversation and trying to do something about where I was. It came to light that it started at least when I was 10 years old. Although I could not realize, it took time. So what I would like to do is touch on basically being aware of the symptoms and what you should look at to know. You know, some people think they are sad, but instead they are depressed. And with those words, can I have a video played for me and then I can speak on it?
Difference between depression and sadness. Sadness is just, you know, from happenstance, whatever happened or didn't happen for you, or, you know, grief or whatever it is. And depression is your body saying, fuck you, I don't want to be this character anymore. I don't want to hold up this avatar that you've created.
Thank you very much. In my journey, it took quite a while to actually realize that I actually have some mental issues that are going on with me. It took for a conversation I had with somebody that I was having with them to give you context. I lost somebody who was very dear to my heart, who I would consider my very first mentor, my uncle, the most prominent father figure at that point in time that I had in my life. I happened to lose somebody, that person in 2011. Around about 2011. And to me, it was a loss that I had. And life carried on after that. Life carried on. But once in a while, I would start making weird phone calls to my mother and ungodly hours, 11 o'clock at night, 1 a.m. sometimes, you know, at weird hours, talking with, hey, I miss your brother. And I don't know why, like, I can't put the pieces together without him and that. And on one day, it just so happened that I was inebriated. And she said to me, Ore, I understand you're missing your uncle. However, I cannot bring them back from the dead. And you should start looking into, getting counseling after so long. And that's when I decided to do something about it. Maybe I should look into, speaking to somebody because I was not talking to anybody besides my mother. And it was only when it got to a point where my body is telling me, like that video, my body's telling me that, you are not performing at your optimal. And I believe the body will signal a lot of what's going in the mind, what's going on in the mind. So, yeah. And that's when I started realizing that, okay, I have a problem. And I visited a social worker first. And during those conversations, they had a diagnosis that I'm suffering from some sort of anxiety and depression. And it started being a weekly thing where I go attend these sessions and then speak to her. Besides, excuse me, having that grief that I was dealing with at that point, I think the other trigger is my son was born in 2017. And at that point, I decided to do the right thing in life and went and paid lobola for his mother. And we became a family. And at that point, we were in COVID years, and the cracks started to show. The cracks started to show in the marriage, if you so call it that. We never went officially legal and signed, but however, with customary marriage, we all know. And I did not know, I wasn't certain while I was doing counseling with my social worker, that was I there to prepare myself for an inevitable breakup or to get over the trauma of losing somebody who was that close to me. And at that point, everything fell apart, so to speak. We eventually separated, and the social counseling alone was not helping. I was fortunate enough to have, or I am fortunate enough to have an aunt who is in that space, and we are very close. And I decided to open up to her to say, I don't think this is enough for me because everything is just going downhill. And she recommended that perhaps I should check myself in at Vista for their 14-day program, which I believe is the best decision I've ever made in my life ever. And yeah, we went through those learnings, the 14-day program, and things like that. It's something you don't easily talk about, or it's a spetleleng sa dikgafi, so to speak. It's something that most men, or even in general, most people would not speak about being in a psychiatric institution openly with public and all of that. But it's something I advocate for. You'd be surprised how many people would relate to what you are going through or have known somebody who's gone through the same thing by just, even casually, it doesn't have to be a formal setting, casually. So yeah, carrying on, I did their 14-day program, and then this is when I decided to actually take it far and beyond my circle and the people that I'm with, who I know. I've met some incredible people at Vista, and I think some of them might be in the room here, who are also advocating for, getting men to at least share. Doesn't have to be with other men. If I personally find it easier to speak to an older woman than myself, an older Black woman. I do not know why, but I find it more comfortable. And I think everybody has a certain demographic of people that they might feel comfortable with talking to about their personal experience. And even if it's, there are many forums that you can go to where you can actually share anonymously and just be open about what you are going through. So yeah, carrying on with my journey. After Vista, I was somebody who was on SSIRs. I think the first 2 years that I was out of Vista, I was on antidepressants. It's a different kind of experience, but for some people, it's not for everybody. For some people like myself, it was something that actually helped me to give me time to figure a plan out. It gave me the 2 years that I was on them. It gave me time to learn a few things about myself, learn a few things about healing, about just being able to navigate yourself. You need to navigate yourself first before you can go out and conquer the world or encounter the world. You need to master, which is something that a friend of mine said, that you need to master yourself first. You need to be you, or who you have to be first, in order for everything else to fall in place. It needs to start with you. He also said something like, you are no good to your people as broken or as unaware of yourself aware of your strengths, aware of your weaknesses, embracing those small wins, and also embracing the losses that you encounter in life. Yeah, but that journey post SSIR led me to uh, a positive outlook on life, although, healing is not linear. My diagnosis is chronic depression, severe chronic depression and anxiety. So basically, it's something that I would have to live with for a very long time to come. However, how I deal and approach it, what makes a big difference. So with that, my mates and I have adopted a concept. It's not a concept that we have started, but it's a concept that we saw and we adopted it, and it's working for us. It's called the Wednesday Waffle. And can I please have the video for the Wednesday Waffle?
I want to introduce you to a concept called the Wednesday Waffle, which is a video me and 3 friends all send off to each other every Wednesday, a 1 to 2 minute video, just updating the others on what's been happening in your life in the week gone by and what's coming up. So the reason I'm saying this now is my partner stumbled across one of these videos about a month ago, or actually I think I showed her because my friend had sent it through his Wednesday Waffle, but his little baby was in it, and my partner loves kids and this was a cute little kid, so I showed her, which she loved. But she was really blown away by the fact that we'd been sending these Wednesday Waffles to each other every Wednesday for a couple of years, and she just thought it was such a great thing for friends to do to stay connected, and it made me kind of think about it. And I've been taking it for granted, but it is such a good thing, and I look forward to their video every Wednesday. So maybe this is something other people can introduce to their life. Why not record a little Wednesday Waffle for your buddies and fire it off to them and see what comes back? Because I think there's room for it, and it just keeps you connected, more so than just flicking text back and forth. It's a little deeper than that, and yeah, I reckon it's all round good, so give it a go. I want to introduce you to
Thank you, Bongani. So yeah, as you had, there's this concept called the Wednesday Waffle. So every Wednesday, a few mates and I who are advocates and evangelists for men's mental health, we shoot off a video to each other, updating each other on the last 7 days, what's been happening in your life in the last 7 days. What are your wins? What are your losses? Do you need some help? Do you need some advice? Hey, even do you want to go fishing? Which is another thing that we try and do. There's those random Tuesdays that blindside you, and where a Wednesday Waffle would just not do. And that's when we decide to just go to the dam, pull out a few rods, and talk about whatever that's been bothering you. If it's a problem at work, it's whatever problem that we can try to help with. What we also find is that we can't always help each other, but just the listening, it helps. Most of us are in the technology sector, and we've just like in our careers, you have a problem, just talking to somebody about it brings up the solution. So it's something that we try and advocate for. We try and see each other as often as we can. But the Wednesday Waffle is it's a great way to stay connected, and just being a crutch for your buddy or anybody that can be needing your help. Yeah, and that I would like to say thank you again for this opportunity, and thank you again. Good luck to everybody who is struggling with their mental health. There's a concept called Kaizen. It's a Japanese concept that talks about small improvements, 1% a day. in the long run, it becomes 100%, you know. You don't have to, if you're struggling with alcohol abuse, you don't have to quit alcohol tomorrow. It will not work. Don't overwhelm yourself. Do not, how can I put this? Do not think it's gonna happen just like that. Kaizen, take it one step at a time. Do small things a day that you don't even notice that you are doing. Wake up in the morning, first thing you do, have a glass of water. Do that over a month or two consistently, it becomes second nature to you. And that's how you can progress and, you know, get over what you are going through or what's been, you know, giving you sleepless nights. Thank you again.
Yeah. No, thank you so much. That was very informative, and thank you for sharing your personal journey with us. We know that you know, it's not easy to open up to people that you don't know, but we believe that when we share these things, when we talk about them, you know, we get to see that we are not the only ones that are on this journey in one form or another. I've jotted a couple of questions, but I mean, I'm gonna let the other friends and family that are here to say a few, just two things from my side. That, you know, you are right. I think Dr. Sia is here. People who know this thing, they say it takes about 22 days to break, you know, a habit, and then it takes another 22 days to form a base of a new habit. And then, you know, and by day 66, you would have actually rewired yourself from that habit and replaced it with a new one. The second comment is that it's just coincidental that I was listening to Miles Monroe this morning, and he was talking about knowing thyself. And that's exactly what you're talking about, because if you know yourself, it's better to maneuver and you know what to choose in life, which is good for you. So very, very powerful. So thank you so much, Kabelo. I'm going to welcome Dr. Sia. Dr. Sia, welcome.
Thank you so much. Apologies for the delay in connecting,
Yeah.
but thank you so much. I'm here now.
Thank you so much, Doctor. For those who don't know, Dr. Sia is our resident doctor, everything mental health. So thanks for coming. Javu, I saw you are here as well. Welcome, Javu. Okay. I think he'll unmute later. Before we move on to Javu's presentation, Dr. Sia, I just wanted you, I know you've been here, you've been listening. Oh, Javu's unmuted. Hi, Javu. Evening. Welcome.
Good evening, and good evening to the brothers online. Thank
And
you
the
for having
sisters.
me on board, and I apologize for looking in late. I was busy with the annual report, which was supposed to submit.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me on board, and I'm here, and I've listened. I heard everything. I'll
Thank
also
you.
contribute effectively. Thank you.
Thank you. Before we move to you, I just wanted to give Dr. Sia an opportunity. I know he's been listening to what Kabelo is saying. Just a few words from your side, Doctor, given what you have listened to.
I think what is mostly important from what I'm gathering, especially listening to personal experiences, is how we should never be able to borrow. Because I think when it comes to mental health, we're very quick to borrow each other's coping strategies without actually going in for a proper diagnosis and really finding out what works for me and what medication should I be on, should medication be needed. But beyond just medication is to really looking at getting to know yourself and being diagnosed properly. We've seen a lot of mishappenings around when it comes to mental health, that people want to Google, people want just to use ChatGPT. Why am I having sleepless night? How do I avoid that? But they're not going through the route of taking themselves seriously. I think what I'm hearing from the previous speaker is how we need to take mental health seriously, but how you need to take yourself seriously as well. And I think I'm going to go back to what he said at the end, that one step at a time. I always say that healing may not take place at the same time for all of us. It matters for us to sit back. And when he said he went into a program for 14 days, I then recognized the importance of taking time out. I'm such an advocate for positive psychology, and I just want to say that don't go to a clinical psychologist or a counselor or wherever you're going to seek mental help, even social workers, only when there's something wrong. Go when you see the warning lights coming on, and say, hey, I'm just experiencing this. Most of the time we leave it too late. But let me stop there for now. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Doctor. Javu, we're gonna move over to you. I'm going to just read a bit of your bio. Doctor, I haven't forgotten about you. I'm gonna do it later. So our next speaker is Javu Baloyi. Javu has been a community worker since 1991, committed to advancing human rights, gender equality, and socio-economic development in South Africa. He's a spokesperson for the Commission for Gender Equality, where he began as a researcher and rose through the ranks. He has published on the university on history, gender, and political transformation, and holds a BA in education from the University of Venda, as well as honors and master's degrees in history from the University of Pretoria. He has also completed studies in media studies and development communication at the University of Wits, and additional training in public relations and governance. Beyond his professional role, Baloyi supports vulnerable young people through the Moby Grace Foundation and the Evangelical Presbyterian Church of South Africa, and is a motivational speaker on gender-based violence, masculinity, and social justice. In 2024, he served as media liaison and spokesperson for the Caster Semenya campaign, supporting his public advocacy. He has received several awards for his contribution to gender equality and continues to champion inclusive social transformation in South Africa. With that, can I welcome you, Javu? And I will then go to your first slide. You let me know when you need to move the slides. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Greetings again, colleagues, brothers. Thank you very much for the presentation before me. I'm Javu Baloyi from the Commission for Gender Equality. I am the spokesperson and currently acting as the head of communication. You can move the slide. I'm going to talk about the Commission for Gender Equality, because the topic that we need to delve in, and I'm grateful for the invite, because some of them I'll speak about personal issues. Why there's a greater need to discuss about men's mental health and men's issues. Where I work at the Commission for Gender Equality, emphasis has been placed on issues of looking at the issues of women empowerment, at the detriment of a boy child, at the detriment of men and men's mental health. Hence, when you find men going to the police station and you go into the public health places, society frown upon some of these issues, as if was not strong enough. Then it becomes a concern to say, when we talk about gender equality, why do we leave men behind? Why men are not given issues of social justice for them also to be treated the same way? Because when we talk about gender equality, it's not about women alone. It's about both men, women, LGBTIA plus persons alike in society, in order for us to belong. One of the fundamental issues, colleagues and friends here, is that oftentimes society vilified men who seek justice. There's a group called fathers. We are fathers and others who are seeking access to their children in society, yet they're not getting assistance. We have assisted those. The commission brought a report called When Relationship Disentangled. We produced that report. The moment, colleagues, that report went out, oftentimes you'll hear men saying that you are defending women. The day we went to Power FM to claim social justice and gender equal rights for men. Men were falling in their numbers, men were talking about it, and they're using it in court today, because that report on its own, when you go to the website of the commission, you look at it, it says when relations disentangle, where men are at the receiving end of societal issues, the stereotypes and everything else. And I heard my brother talking about issues of mental health. Lots of us men, you can go to the next slide, a lot of us men suffer mental health because of the societal issues and the burden that is placed upon us. Look at the statistics on slide number 2, the reality of South Africa. These are not some statistic. It says 13,774 men. People died by suicide. Of those, 10,861 are men. And you look at it, you know, it's only a fraction of the numbers there. Nearly 80% of us die of suicide. 4 to 5 men. The other day, advocate called me. We were talking, and I said, a man can stay with a woman for 50 years. Yet, when, like my brother said, during COVID, showed him, I have got a lot of friends. During COVID, reality struck because, you know, they were staying together in the same house with a woman. They were staying together as a family, yet they couldn't have a conversation the whole day because they were not used to be in the same house the whole day. They were not used to be locked in the same house the whole day with a partner. That's where you realize reality struck. Some of the people during this COVID time divorce. Some of the people during COVID time, because they lost employment, they committed suicide. Some of the people during this COVID, during the COVID time, they went back home to the back rooms at home in their family yards around Gauteng and other provinces, because some had to rent their houses out. And imagine, colleagues, a woman is not, it's the one that is supporting you. Some of this depression resulted because a woman will be, you can move a slide, a woman will be the breadwinner of the house, and that woman will have learned something from the church to say, a man is the head of the household. A man, this and that about men. Men do not cry. Men are providers. Men were spoken down at during COVID and beyond COVID. I have got a friend, a personal story to tell. A friend of mine was suspended at work. It became suicidal. The wife moved from the bedroom, said she couldn't take it anymore. And you look at it, colleagues, who was supposed to be more stressor? It's supposed to be the man. She was supposed to, the moment everything, the case was sorted out, she moved back inside the bedroom. There was no sex. There was nothing. They were not hardly talking to one another. And I asked that friend, said, why are you staying in this marriage? Because the signs are still out there. I love my wife. I said, but we have forewarned is forearmed. It's one of the statistics that now, my brother, when he's talking about Vista, we have recommended him to go to Vista because things are no longer normal in the house. Yet he doesn't want to divorce because of pride, what society will say, and that is our downfall as men. And as we continue, I'll tell you a personal story. This issue shows that, you know, the upbringing, colleagues and friends, of a boy child and us men, it's wrong. The moment we separate the roles, the moment society look at us as protectors of society, that's where they place an unnecessary burden on us. And there's a deep-rooted gender norms that are there in society. That's why some of these deaths are avoidable, because we need support structures. We need like people like Dr. Mia. We need for platforms like that, because the access to care and the well-being for men, it's not there. If it is there, you will find even the pastors will talk about you. You'll find that even those that you go and consult, you go to hospitals, you talk about issues. Because when we grow, colleagues, there are changes in our bodies. Certain things, you know, we can't cope. We can't behave like we're in our 20s, our 30s, yet we're in our 50s and 60s and 70s. Certain things, hormonal changes in our bodies, sex-wise things do change. And yet, when we seek assistance, we don't get assistance. Our partners are not there for us, and no one is there for us. That's why forums like this are very critical, important. You can move a slide. When we grow up, we're told, some of us, like in the Eastern Cape, and in Limpopo, KwaZulu-Natal, not KwaZulu-Natal, Mpumalanga, and a certain part of Free State, we were told when we go to circumcision schools that boys do not cry, we must be strong, we're told to be real men, we're told to be demeaning and degrading to women and objectify them. And in the process, we suppress our emotional being. This is where I needed to tell you a story. In 2009, I was meant to divorce. Then my parents came into being to say, you can't divorce. Your mother-in-law is not well. And I realized the relationship has finished. I realized that we're no longer moving. This was my best friend, whom I've married. We've got 3 kids together. The first child, when she was born, I was there. The second child, when he was born, I was there. The third child, when he was born, I spent 3 days without going to the hospital here in Pretoria because I was hurt. There were issues that were affecting me based on how the child was. Even today, colleagues, I am even afraid to do DNA test to ascertain if the child is mine. Come 2012, I divorced. When I divorced, I did something unthinkable, which most men wouldn't have done. I was suicidal. I loved the partner that I was married to. I did not suppress my emotion. I went to counseling for almost 2 years. I will pass even the robots. When they were red, I will get angry. 2016, I realized I might even be a danger to myself. I stopped taking alcohol. I said, let me deal with myself. Let me find out who I am. And I stay in touch with my kids. My kids today, if they can tell you that if they were born again, they will want me to be their father because I'm a present father, but I never suppressed my emotions. There were times when I was suicidal, and I knew what I knew certain things about the relationship, and I discovered certain things. There were times where I thought, why don't I get an accident with her and then she get killed from the left? But when we divorced, that was the best thing that ever happened to me, because at times we do things not for ourselves, we do it for our families, we do it for society, we do it for kids as men. But the person who suffers the most, it's you. People can talk. Jabu, it said the Commission for Gender Equality has divorced. Yes, let them talk. It's fine. But as a man, we must reclaim our own value, our currency, it's ourselves. The happiness of which is ours, colleagues, begins with you. The betterment of self begins with you. We cannot have a situation where as men, we do not talk to one another, yet on WhatsApp we talk. And the upbringing and the socialization, what kind of friends do we have as men? Do we have friends who can vouch for you, take a bullet for you, can be there for you? So those are some of the issues. As men, we need to begin to inculcate that culture from one another. This issue of saying a brother's keeper. I go to a church now where I believe 90% of the people are my friends. I can get stuck now. I can phone 5 of them. 4 of them will come. They will never ask why. 2 of them will even give me their cars to say, take our car. When your car, don't hire a car, because we are there for you. And that's kind of the friends that we need. We need also to introspect. What kind of friends do we have as men? Can they be there for me? I've got a friend. He works in presidency. One day they asked him at the church, whom do you trust? And that day I cried, friends and colleagues. He said he has got a daughter who's in their 40s. And he's got 3 daughters. He has got 4 daughters. He said to them, this man, I can trust him to stay with my daughters. They can walk naked in front of him. The way I trust him, you will never even look at them. That's kind of a relationship that we need to inculcate amongst ourselves, to say, if I visit you, advocate, will you think about your kids? Will you call after 20 minutes as men? Because we need to change the mentality. Where as men, when you see a friend's wife, how do you comment? I once stopped a friend about this upbringing issue. He used to be my friend. He said to me, hey, your daughter is grown and she's beautiful. That was the end of friendship. You don't comment about my child and says things that, are sexual innuendos and intricacies inside. I stopped the friendship. I said, from today onwards, and I told him this was after divorce. I said, from today onwards, I will wish you and I not to be friends anymore. You have crossed the line that a man shouldn't cross. You can't say my daughter, it's beautiful, she's fine, she has got a nice behind. And he said it openly to me. And another friend hugged my daughter and touched her bum. And I stopped the friendship there because those are the messages that I tell my boy children that too. And I say to them, you are as good as how we treat, you give, and it's reciprocated. I am telling you now, my daughter is married and the husband is my friend. My daughter is my best friend. She doesn't even call me dad. She said, "Good job." Because I've said the divorce is not about them. The divorce was between me and their mother. But then I remain close to their life. I do everything else. So when we were brought up as men, we were told some of them, when they divorce, they'll divorce the children. And that is a negative message that we need to eradicate as men. You can go to the next slide. There are a lot of issues which are at times as men. There's something called positive masculinity and also a negative toxic masculinity, because toxic person will always be isolate themselves. They will also be violent. You know the story of a man who leaves the house, advocate and colleagues and friends, who leaves the house and the kids and the wife start dancing. When you come back, they go to their rooms on the social media platforms. My kids, I am telling you, wherever I am, even the ones that are not mine, that I find them with my current partner, they will never see you advocate on TV or everywhere. They say you are their role model. They will never, because I've created a platform for them, because they talk to me. You won't believe now, the daughter whom I stay with now, I called her that, I'm coming late. I'm going to be stopping and engaging with other men and learn from them. And then don't wait up for me. Don't include me in the meal in this evening. She said, well, I've already cooked. I said, okay, I won't buy anything where I am. I thought, while I'm saying, I'll just get coffee. That is the positive. And remember, this is my not biological child. And if you see her, you will think that she was born out of me. Because as men, we have got this toxic masculinity. We feel we need to be feared. Be the first boyfriend of your daughter, or be the exemplary man that people want to see. You are boy children. When we talk to them as a positive masculinity, we need to sit down with them. This issue of us men here in this platform to say, we'll wait when the kids are in grade 3 or grade 4 to teach, we buy them gadgets which are expensive. They know about sex and sexuality even before you start talking to them. So start, even when they start talking, start raising certain things, start hinting to them. And then when they go to grade 3, there's life orientation. They know all those things. So when this issue of waiting, I can't talk to my boy about sex. I can't talk to my boy about penance. These boys are masturbating when they're 15, 16. They start masturbating. And that is a positive masculinity that I want to instill and inculcate in all of us. Because oftentimes we said, no, I can't talk to this. I'll send my child to the uncle. That's your child. Establish that friendship. I am telling you, you will have the best childhood. Most of the kids that are taking Nyaobe and doing things, do research. You'll find that they're from middle class families. They were sent to Model C schools, and because of pride, as parents, we don't talk to them. We want to show the neighbors that we can send our kids to the best schools, yet we don't have a relationship with. So that is a negative masculinity. Your wife can't talk to you. Let me give you an example. There was one guy at our church, one of the churches I go to. And this guy, I will observe the wife who rush to the car all the time. When, after church, I will observe and I look at it. One day, while I was sitting inside the church, I was sitting next to the daughter. I asked her nicely, I said, why is your mother always rushing to the car when the church is, and then they leave you behind after to attend other things? And the child says, you don't know my father. Lo and behold, colleagues, the child was being raped by the uncle. And the father, when it was raised with him, he ignored it. And the child ended up telling me that conversation inside the church. She said, Papa Jabu, my uncle is sleeping with me. He forces himself on me. I've tried to say it. They said, my father will talk to him. You see, that is a negative masculinity that also is harming his own child. Imagine a child of 13 years and the uncle said, no, she's grown. When we got involved as a commission, He says she's grown. She doesn't look like she's 13. She looks like she's 17 or 18. The same thing has happened in Northwest because it's us men. This is where one point we don't have to be political correct. Us men, and hear me very well, we are not agent provocateurs when it comes to gender-based violence and femicide and issues of mental health. Society has never told us how to react. Society has told us to say, most men, unlike me, you are introverted even in this platform. Yet you can't raise your voices when you raise your voice, it's out of anger, you are angry, you want to beat the hell out of someone. So imagine that child had a safe space with me, not a family member. And I am telling you now, the child was pregnant. She unfortunately lost the child, but the uncle is at the Sintumule, one of the prison in Venda, because of my intervention as an individual to say it will never happen. So as a man, we stop this. As a man, because I help even in my family also. There was abuse. My own younger brother who follows me, he was abusive to us. I am talking about someone who has got a PhD. He was abusive towards his wife. I got involved and I threatened him. I am going to help you go to the police station and help yourself with the police state. I'm an abuser. I am beating my wife day in and day out without provocation. I am telling you, the boy is reformed now. The inside of prison scared the hell out of him. And when I find out, it was because his own father abused our mother. I was at university. I did not know. I only discovered it last year when I took her to hospital. She said, the teeth underneath, 4 of them are not hairs. And I started asking what happened. And she cried, and I was driving here with 2. I cried. So you see, issues of these things, it's a generational curse. It's a cycle. As men, we can nip it in the bud by being the better version of our own. We need to produce a new man. Hence, colleagues and advocates, in our workplace, we don't bring a girl to work. We bring a child to work. Both girls and boys alike. I see you have put the video on. You want me to stop?
I'm giving you 2 minutes.
Okay, you can go. Yes, because I felt I needed to talk to men.
No, of course.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, you can go a slide up.
Okay.
You can go a slide up. As men, we need to form our groups. Our WhatsApp groups, which are pointed, which talks about our issues as men, which are engaging, which are there. Women play stokvels again with one another. Why can't we do the same? Why can't we find a man who's not working? Why can't we find a child as men who's from a single household and buy footballs for them, buy soccer boots, be there, mentor them. And also issues of finances. We don't talk about it as men. My kids, I'm not saying do it. My kids know how much I earn, how much I do my money, and how much, if I don't have money, they know that this is it. So as men, we must face this reality that things have changed. It's no longer about us only working, but also women. So in parting short, advocate and colleagues, I want to implore you to say, do introspection. Who am I as a man? Do I go extra mile for my family? Do I care enough? Do I show emotions? Because at times you can be abused by your own family and you go extra mile, you are there for the uncle, you're everyone else, but nobody is there for you. Take care of your mental health, take care of yourself, go to Vista, lock in yourself to Vista, and go to places where, let's go to counseling, guys. Let's find counselors and social workers. Let us talk to them. Those are the people who can help. There's a doctor in this place, a resident doctor. Let's talk to them separately. I know doctors are very ethical. You will never reveal things to you. And on that note, colleagues, and I seriously and sincerely thank this opportunity for having been invited. And I love you, all of you. And telling everyone as a man that you love, it doesn't mean you are gay. It says you love and care about one another. Thank you very much, advocate, and thank you, the leadership. And we'll see. Please send my regards if she's not here. Thank you.
She's here. So thank you so much, Jabu. Thank you so much for sharing and telling us what is happening in your space. I'm seeing a lot of reaction to your story. And you're right. Let's let them talk, but do what you need to do for yourself. They can talk as much as they want. It's your life and it's important. And thank you so much for the positivity that you are sharing in this space and the role that you play in our community. Thank you so much. Before I open for comments, I'm going to give you, Dr. Sia, again an opportunity to say a few words. I think you are familiar with what Javu is saying, but let me hand over to you so you can also make your input there. And maybe to start off the question and session answer, you can feel free to quiz the speakers, and then we can take it from there. Thanks, Doctor.
I think for me it's to really thank Javu for breaking the silence. I think that's what exactly it is, because we always want to believe that men do not cry and men must be able to stomach certain things that happen in their lives. But also you didn't just only challenge the breaking of silence, but you're also challenging the way men think and where they get to adopt in those behaviors. And I think if we really begin to have an honest conversation, it will be of one of those things where we need to start breaking it down in corners of saying, where do men talk? And one of the things that I've found out doing some programs around KZN is that men do want to talk, but they want a safe space where to talk. And I think, Javu, you've all already prompted that conversation, that are we creating enough spaces for men to talk? I'm questioning even our healthcare facilities that want to prioritize mental health, and I'm asking the question whether are we really prioritizing to roll that red carpet for men. If you look at the statistics in South Africa, I think last year alone there were about 13,000 cases of suicide, and 80% of those cases are sitting with men. It's men that actually take away their lives. And if men are sitting with the tool of suicide in their package of coping skills, it means we have not done well as a society. So I think and there for now, because I do want to talk about in the next, I'm going to be given an opportunity to want to talk about what's happening in our mind and why are we wired this way as men, and what can we be able to change practically in our lives. Thank you so much, Advocate.
Yeah, I'll give you this opportunity to say what you wanted to say now before we open the floor. Yeah, so please proceed.
If you can be able to go quickly to the first picture, I'm going to speak to one picture that I want to really get to challenge. And many of us, I must say, we were raised to believe that real men must be strong. Real men never cries. We also believe that and always a man must have an answer. Unfortunately, these beliefs have contributed to stress, anxiety, depression, substance abuse, broken relationships, even suicide among men. So today I want to introduce you into a simple, powerful model that will help us understand ourselves. It's called the PAC system. I don't have it here. If maybe we can be able to show it so that I can speak to it. This is a model, the PAC model. It's the PAC model, was developed by a psychiatrist, Dr. Eric Barnett, as part of the transitional analysis. The PAC model teaches us that we all have 3 ego states. That influences how we think, feel, and behave. You are almost there. I think it should be. I don't know if Chabo is here. Abusi, I mean, there we go. So the one that I want to really talk about, the PAC teaches us that we got 3 ecosystems, and it means we have a parent in us, we have an adult in us, and we have a child in us. The question is not which one do I have. The question is which one is controlling me right now. And the first one, which is the first P, it speaks to the parent ecosystem. This is the voice that we have learned from parents. Whether the parent was present, whether the parent was absent, whether the parent was nurturing, whether the parent was abusive, whether the parent was negative, or whether the parent was positive. This is an ecosystem that exists in you today. Inside all of us today, we have these three personas existing in us. They are called the ego state. And beyond parents, it's also from our teachers, our religious leaders, our society leaders, whoever was around when we grew up. Because some people, when you want to take them through the PEC model, they will say, but I never had parents. But the mere fact that you never had parents, it does affect on how you view the world today, and that parent is inside of you. So the parent ego state is the voice that we learned from parents. It contains rules, it contains beliefs, it contains values, it contains judgment, and sometimes the parent is helpful. It says drive safe. Sometimes it's helpful. It says respect people, which is helping you today as a man, or it's saying work hard. This is called nurturing parent ecosystem that exists inside of yourself. But most of the time, we found that this becomes critical. It says you're useless. It says the real men don't cry, has already been said by speakers. It says don't show weaknesses. Many men carry these harsh inner critics throughout their lives. And you ask yourself, is the voice in my head encouraging me or constantly judging me? So if we don't deal with the parent, when you come to me and you want me to have a session with you, the first thing that we need to assess, and you feel like your life is not moving forward, the first thing that we will need to assess is who raised you? Where did they raise you? How did they raise you? And then we begin to look at the particles, nitty-gritties, DNA of this parent who's in you. Sometimes as men, we become dangerous to ourselves because we're borrowing toxic traits from the parent that raised us. Let's move. We're going to skip the A, and then there's the child. The child ecosystem is, it represents our emotions. It contains our joy. It contains our creativity. It contains our fear. It contains our sadness. It also contains our excitement. Our child is not that bad, but it may react by shouting, withdrawal, or maybe sometimes people have not really healed the child in them, because this child ecosystem sits with you. And the sooner men get to revisit the child in them and begin to understand which voice is controlling the child that is in you. I was speaking to men and I'm saying, men must really put away some of our childish ways. And I'm not saying this from the critical point of view of judging men, but I'm saying men must question whether the child that is inside of them has been healed. Because if the child is not healed, I want to emphasize the importance of going through trauma counseling, the importance of going through just counseling, the importance of going through understanding yourself and knowing who you are, that it is important to understand who is at play today. Is it a child or is it the parent? Then last but not least is how then there's an A, which is an adult ecosystem. The adult is the healthier part of us. It focuses on facts of fear instead of reacting to emotions. It takes what are the facts, what options do I have, what is the best decision. Let me just say this quickly. I hope everyone can hear this and you're writing it down. Your brain does not know the difference between right or wrong. Your brain does not know the difference between a lie and a truth. Your brain knows the repetition. So whatever it is that you are repeating in your brain, it creates a neurological system where neurons begin to create what we call neural pathways. And then you become that which you believe. And most of the time, what's keeping men awake at night and men that we are today is not the true sense of who we're supposed to be. We are repeating a lie that we believed in ourselves, borrowed from the parent, Or either we have not healed from the child, we're still bringing our bruised child into the table. How do we find balance? When a man leaves from his adult ego state, he communicates calmly. He solves problems. He thinks before reacting. He takes responsibility. He asks for help when needed. The adult does not ignore emotions. I want to repeat that one. The adult does not ignore emotions. Let me make an example. When you start a car, to those who have a car, you put your car on and a lot of lights come on the dashboard. And then when you put your car on start, certain lights begin to disappear to say the car is healthy. But there are sometimes lights that comes on even while you're driving the car and you ignore them. And you think, because I was able to get from point A to point B, I can push to point C. I can push to point D. What am I saying? An adult does not ignore the warning lights that are in. It starts with little things as stress. It starts as little things as anxiety. When you wake up in the morning, learn to navigate your life as you start your engine. And I always say this to my clients because I'm now practicing psychology full-time. I'm no longer just doing clinical research. I now have clients. I now do direct involvement with clients. And I start people from this PEC model where we need to understand what is wrong with you and who is at play today. Who am I dealing with today? And many people, especially men, all their egos and their negative masculinity that they are bringing to the table, into the relationship, into the boardroom, into how they're parenting their children, they're borrowing toxic traits from their parents that raised them or never raised them, the society, the teachers, and they never get to be authentically themselves. What am I saying then? Because I don't want to waste your time. When stress increases, we often stop thinking like adults. Instead, the critical parents start judging. I am a failure. The child starts reacting emotionally. I can't cope. Our goal is to pause and return to the adult. So every time as you navigate your life, ask yourself, how often do I pause? Before you answer someone, before you react, before you do something, are you in your adult ego system? What am I feeling? Ask yourself that. Why am I feeling this? What can I do about it? That's when you are being factual about it. Let me stop there. But the PEC model is something that I want you to go and Google. This is the only time I'm allowing you to go and use Google. Go and research it. Go and find the psychiatrist that wrote it and learn a little bit more about you. Maybe even now, you're going to end up questioning yourself. Go to, hey, maybe I haven't been, I've only been coping some mechanisms.
I'm you speaking to the converted here, doctor. Let me tell you, I've done my shadow work, and it's not easy to do that at all. It's very difficult, and as you say, sometimes facing the truth about yourself is difficult, and also getting feedback from family, people who are close to you about yourself as well can be very difficult because we have this impression about who we are, and it's almost like, Dr. Sia, like hearing your voice recording for the first time. It doesn't sound like you sound, right? So it's like that type of feedback. So thank you so much, doctor. Thank you so much. I'm going to open the floor for questions. There has been a lot of remarks, powerful session, very informative, the adult does not ignore emotions, very powerful. Self-introspection is very important. Indeed, it all starts with you. So the people on the platform are confirming. So let us open the floor for questions. Friends and family on the line. Who's gonna go first? I see people are shy. People are shy. They don't want to talk.
Good evening. Good evening.
Yes, Semi, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Sorry, I joined the webinar a little bit late because we had the
That's
power
fine.
outage. And yes, Dr. Sia, thank you very much for being very candid with us and for introducing the PEG model to us. I would like to ask the following question. As men, at times we face challenges, one of which is unemployment, right? And when we become unemployed, I think we tend to look for solace in being a child again, because that means now you have an excuse not to take certain responsibilities due to the fact that you're unemployed, and you tend to rely on your partner, and so to speak, your partner becomes like a parent to you. But at the back of your mind, you still hear those voices that you used to hear when you were younger, you know, that you're a good for nothing or that you are not worth it, and things like that. And how do we deal with that?
Thank you, Semi. Thank you for that question. And I think Javu also talked about shared, maybe because you joined late as well. Javu also talked about his personal experience of a friend who faced a similar situation. But doctor, please, your input there.
Thank you so much. I think it's absolutely normal. I want to come back and say this. It's absolutely normal that it feels like, remember, when we become at this ego state, it's very easy for us to fall back to the ego state that feels mostly comfortable. When you say we become like a child, it means we're running for safety. We want to be safe again. But then there's a voice of the parent that rises up that speaks to the child that hasn't healed. What I normally say is people who do accounting will echo with me that if the books are not balancing today, we need to go back to the day the books were opened, the account was open. We start assessing the withdrawals, the deposits, the transaction, and really figuring out what happened to you and why this traumatic voice still rises up even when you are trying to be an adult. So being an adult does not mean I don't go through challenges. It means I go through challenges, but I still need to be responsible enough to go back and close the doors behind me. The doors behind you are opened by trauma. They're opened by wounds. They're opened by previous experiences. They're opened by your upbringing. They open up at the negative things that it's a lot that we still need to unpack as adults today. And as Umashobane was saying, we still have that that it's a hard work. There's work that is still remaining that we need to do. So I would like to invite you to say, go back and do the timeline, but also go back and sit with yourself and ask yourself, when did I feel mostly humiliated as a child, and why when I'm trying to grow up and I face challenges, I still run back to that persona whom I was as a child. It will help you close the doors and be comfortable with it and have a conversation. One of the highest true conversation you must have is, was I being real? And for sure you are not being real. What would I say to my younger self? What conversation I want to affirm this young person whom I still run back into? Then we can be able to face the world without feeling afraid, but not running into the child ecosystem and remaining in the adult. Thank you.
So thank you so much. Part of doing shadow work, there were, you would hear something or you would smell something, and it would take you to a past memory. But the feeling that your body gets, it's as if you are back in that time zone. You
Yes.
are experiencing it. And part of doing the shadow work is not to run away from those situations, but let them go through you and you understand, why does this thing make you feel, this way, so yeah, you're absolutely right, doctor. We have Floyd. I see Siabonga is there. Sorry, Floyd, yes. Floyd, please go, and then we'll take GM after that. Let's go, Floyd.
Evening, guys. I don't have a question. I just have a comment. I'm here with 3 of my friends, and we've been listening to the session. And I want to give credit to Bosi Nkosi for inviting us to this session. It's a powerful session. As men, we do not have people to speak to, and we bottle up so many things. And I think we need these kind of sessions so that we can know what to do in future, and also who to talk to, how to open up, and how to, so that we don't bottle things up. We go through so many things as men, and these kind of sessions will definitely help us. I'd like to thank all the speakers who came through today. It was an informative session. Thank you so much, guys.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
No, thank you so much, guys, for joining. And with the permission of the speakers, we'll ask them, and then we'll just share. I know Javu would not mind. Kabelo's got his Waffle Wednesdays, and I'm sure between the two of them, we'll have a chat with Dr. Sia as well.
Most definitely.
And I'm sure they'll be more than happy to send us to the right direction in terms of
most definitely.
Yeah.
Most definitely. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Can you go to GM?
Good evening, gentlemen. I just want to say thank you very much for the opportunity to be a part of this. It's very informative as the gentleman that spoke previously. And it's very encouraging to see men speak about the things that we shy away from speaking about on a daily. And it's more and more encouraging to hear older men speaking about the things that they've went through, and us as young men looking to also be old men and be fathers and leaders, and people of our own households as well, to hear that there are some difficulties, but there's a light in terms of going forward. One of the questions that I have is that, as a young man, I've always struggled with not feeling like I am enough, whether it's, especially when it comes to parents, you always get compared, you always get told where you fall short, whether it's with, family in general, where they always compare you to this cousin or this person, or you also look at other men that are also doing certain things at your age, and you also get compared to that, and that societal pressure, or even in just relationships also as well, where you always feel like you're just not enough and you're just not doing more. How do you overcome that and deal with that? That's just my question.
That's a powerful question, Dr. Sia. I think all of us at some stage we've struggled with that. I don't think there's any man who's not struggled with that before. Dr. Sia?
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Sorry,
we can hear you now. Yes, we can hear you now. Yeah.
I think there's no one size fit all, but what we need to begin to look at is how have we built a man? And I say this because what makes a man more resilient, and resiliency means the ability to bounce back. So the society may not be sensitized enough, the family may not be sensitized enough, the people that are around us may not be sensitized enough, but how do we reach out to this one particular man and ensure that the value system of this man? What are the values? The values are things that you can't go to a shop and buy. You can't go to a shop and buy love. You can't go to a shop and buy trust. You can't go to a shop and buy confidence. Even resilience itself, it falls within values. And when I normally do with these sessions with you guys, I always go back to say mental health is based on our values, and positive psychology is going to be speaking to us in terms of really questioning our value system. When your values are in check and they are beginning to feed you, remember what I said. I said your brain does not know the difference between a lie and a truth. It knows repetition. So what are you repeating? Are you repeating what you're hearing them say, or are you repeating what you are exposing yourself into. It means I'm able to expose myself enough to values, and it's what I'm taking in. I'm able to expose myself enough to positive conversation about who I am. The man from a gender commission spoke so beautifully, and he said, I'm now in a church. What is the value system that is going to govern you now to be able to stand against all the odds that you're going to come across? Because it's cold out there. The man is expected, and men are expected to do so much. Men are expected not to cry. Men are being compared to other men, and they're feeling less about themselves. But where the strongness is going to come from is rebuilding your values. If you may, I will send a link. There's Barrett, a values system where you can just go in. And I always say we need to check our values as often as we can, because they form the foundation of who we are. And also notice when your values don't work for you and when they work for you. Yeah.
Thank you so much. On that question, Dr. Sia, I'm also going to ask Kabelo and Javu to also give us their input, because it's a poignant question, and I think they, in their own experiences, have dealt with this a lot. So let me start with Kabelo first. Kabelo, your input on that question from GM, please. On that remark from GM. You are muted, ne?
Thank you for that question, because I had you prefixed it as a young man. It does not stop, unfortunately. It does not stop. You will always be put against somebody. I think that's been the nature of men since our forefathers. The man with the most cows is the one with the most wives, is the most successful. And, if you are not doing anything about that, the hunter is the one that's been looked up to instead of the heads boy. I like what the doctor said. It's about finding your value. Finding your own measure. It's a weird thing, or it's a happy mistake that just yesterday we were having a conversation with a mate of mine, and then we culturalized this, that we have found that Xhosa men will judge you, hypothetically speaking, a Zulu man or a Pedi man, by not going to the mountain. They will call you Inkwenkwe. You will not get a certain type of respect because when you have not been to the mountain. But if you find that in your culture or your family or your tribe, in your society, the measure of a man is different. And then you also just look at your value. I like that very much, Doctor, because it was what I was alluding to, that master yourself. If you start with yourself first, know that, okay, I don't need to run Kabelo's race. I don't need to run the advocate's race. I run my race. This is how I will measure myself. And I think with that, you will curb it. It will always happen. I think it's how society works. That's why we will say I was raised in a middle-class family, and it is how it is. It's how you know yourself, know the value that you bring, know your struggles, know your wins, master yourself. I like to iterate that a lot. Just if you master yourself, everything just seems to fall in place, because you know your boundaries, you know your limits, you know your superpowers, and then everything you are faced with, you might not always be successful, because scenarios are different. You might not always be successful in navigating a situation. That's when now a support structure will come in, forums like these will come in. But if you master yourself, you will be able to master everything else. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kabelo. Thank you so much. Javu?
Thank you very much, Advocate. I won't be long. I'm not trying to compete with anyone. One of the answers
No
that
pun intended.
Yes, the doctor said it very, very well, profoundly said. He must know his worth, run his own race, never compete. Also, Be there for yourself. Have that self moment of reflection and create safer spaces for yourself. When you are hurt, cry it out. When you are happy, show it. But run your own race and also be content in your own skin. Because, you know, you will be looking at the other side and you realize people are doing, you don't know. You see, I'm sorry to bring other things that are not necessary, but the Matlanga Commission has shown all of us that some of the things that people are getting are not the ill-gotten gains. And then you will compete with people who have done something wrong, and then you think that, you know, you are not worthy enough. So be comfortable in your own skin. And self-love is the biggest. Hence, I said earlier on, the betterment of self begins with you. No one is going to come and say that you're a good person. You don't need validation. Because most of us, you know, I'll speak here, I'll want advocate, is advocate nodding his head. And then if he doesn't nod his head, then I become worried that, you know, it's not nodding his head. So do not seek validation from anywhere. You know you are loved. You are a precious cargo of God. He knew you before you were born. He has got plans to prosper you. So don't look any other way and think that, you know, no, you are worthless. And always be mindful of who you are. That's all that I can tell you, my brother. So that, you know, reach out. Advocate is here. The doctor is here. Reach out to the commission. We can even send you best people who can engage with you better than me. That's how brothers supposed to be, because I mustn't hog the limelight saying I am the best in the field of gender equality and engagement. There are men who are better than me, and you need to be exposed to things like this and always find your voice. Ask where you do not understand. You will be given answers. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We are left with 5 minutes in our time. I see, Semi, you've got your hand up. I'm not sure if it's a new hand.
Yes, it's a new hand, sir.
Okay, please proceed.
You know, I have 2 or 3 things to say quickly. One, I appreciate this like you can imagine. Please let it continue because we need it. You know, we are building a brotherhood by having something of this nature where we are able to express ourselves and express ourselves without reservation. I would like to concur or agree with the 2 previous speakers and the gentleman that asked the question. You know, it was very difficult for me to be comfortable with me, also from a cultural point of view, because I think it's Mr. Kabelo who mentioned culture. You know, when you're growing up and then when you're an adult, you try and find answers to certain questions and you are told that as a child, nobody knew you, or you were not, for lack of a better word, may I use an African word? They say, you know, you know.
Oh, yeah.
It's like the ancestors don't know about your existence, and that is why you mess up sometimes, you know, because you are not known, you're not part of the lineage or the ancestry. That's number one. And then thirdly, as I said, I have 3 things to say. I found most of my answers in a book. You know, I read Macbeth and I came across a quote that says, "Know yourself, and knowing yourself should come as naturally as day and night. And if you're true to yourself, you'll never be false to any man." So I agree with the previous speakers that we need to be ruthlessly honest with ourselves, accept ourselves for who we are. And from that point of view, we will be able to replenish ourselves, because sometimes we feel empty and you cannot give what you don't have. Thank you.
You can't. No, you can't. Definitely not. Thank you so much, Semi, for those words. I think you have spoken to most of us, you know, with those. Culture, as the doctor and the 2 speakers were saying, is one of our impediments as men. So yeah, it's a challenge. So I'd like to thank everyone who attended. Thank you for giving us your time. The 1.5 hours flew so quickly. Javu, I see you want to say something else. Please do.
There's a book that helped me advocate. It's by Rick Warren. Rick Warren. The title is A Purpose-Driven Life.
Okay. I have jotted it. I have jotted it down. Okay, Dr. Sia, you agree? Yeah. Doctor?
Saying everybody should read that book. It's the most fundamental basis of truth that will ever give you what on earth were you born for? Why are you here? And the purpose-driven life helps you to live a fulfilled life. It's one of the most basic principles we should all uphold.
Okay, I will share that as well. We'll share that as well with the family that is here, so that everyone can get access to it. So thank you so much to everyone. Thank you for the inputs. We do the mental health sessions a number of times in a year. So the next one that comes, we will definitely share with the group again. And I'll like to thank you, Dr. Sia. I'd like to thank you, Javu. I'd like to thank you, Kabelo, once again for coming in and sharing, the good work that you're doing, your experiences. We know it's not easy, putting yourself out there and sharing personal stuff. But thank you so much, because we learn from you and we go back, we introspect, so that we can also improve ourselves in the same fashion, so that we at another stage will be able to give this to other people. Busi, you've got your hand up?
Yes, sir. We do have the link from Dr. C on the chat, sir. Thank you.
Okay, great stuff. Thank you so much, colleagues. Enjoy the evening, and let's heal. Let's heal together. Thank you. Oh, Naledi, you also want to say something. You don't want this session to end. Yes, Naledi?
Yes, sir. Everybody can just have a look out during the course of next week for the link to this webinar as it was recorded. So everybody will have the opportunity to rewatch it again sometime next week once we've uploaded it.
Beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff. With that, thank you so much, everyone. We'll see you next time. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.